How could a country like America lose its freedoms? Well, that question is being answered right now in real time. Have you noticed how much the world has changed in the last 4 to 5 years? I'm going to try to answer that in part in this video. And at points, it'll be a deep dive, and it might get a little overwhelming, but I really recommend that you stay to the end, and you shouldn't be afraid of this because there is hope. If you're like me, you're probably feeling disturbed by the direction things are headed. We are seeing governments all around the world trying to take our God-given freedoms away from us. At the same time, a lot of people are blindly following these tyrannical governments. One of the biggest changes we saw was during COVID, when countries went on lockdown, forced people to get vaccinated by threatening to fire them from their jobs, and even set up vaccine passports to prevent people from traveling. Right now, we're seeing the start of central bank digital currencies, also known as CBDCs. And a CBDC is a key point of a social credit system. It's the financial control. And it will go hand in hand with every social credit system that exists. But if you say anything that goes against COVID or CBDCs or against the official agenda, you will be labeled a conspiracy theorist and you will be bullied and harassed into submission. This is not some random mass hysteria. It is not coming from a few rogue government agencies. This is an organized attack on our freedom, and it has been happening gradually over many decades, if not centuries. The so-called COVID pandemic was one of the most recent and biggest tests to see how much control governments, in cooperation with powerful private interests, really have over us. It was a turning point, and it woke many people up. But it also showed how many people are blind followers and order takers. There's a big picture going on behind the scenes right now, and the point of this video series is I want to show you how these puzzle pieces fit together to make that big picture. And once you see that big picture, I don't think you'll be able to unsee it. What we're seeing right now is the West trying to implement a social credit system similar to the one that exists in China right now. So what is the Chinese social credit system? If you've never heard of it, you're probably thinking it's some fantasy or made up by conspiracy theorists. But it's not fantasy and it's not a theory. The Chinese social credit system exists right now and it's going on in China. It's a system of total surveillance combined with very sophisticated artificial intelligence that enables the system to monitor everywhere people go and everything that they do. It rewards people for doing things that the government wants them to do, and it punishes people for doing things the government doesn't want them to do. At first glance, this might sound good, good people are rewarded, bad people are punished. It makes sense, right? But that's not how a social credit system works. And that's because a social credit system is owned by power seekers. And as we've mentioned before, power seekers want more power. They're the ones who decide the good people, the good actions, and the bad people and the bad actions. It's a dangerous combo. It's not about rewarding people who help senior citizens cross the street. It's about destroying any and all forms of opposition to the central government. It's about forbidding any thoughts, words, or deeds that differ from or defy the government. And more than that, with this system, the Chinese government is able to control everyone and make them do exactly what the government wants them to do. It's technological slavery. I'm not saying that to be dramatic. It's literally technological slavery. I repeat, this system exists right now in China, and it is very effective. Chinese officials are not afraid to admit that they are using it in an attempt to mold people into the perfect tool for the government. And Chinese people are learning that they cannot dissent. They cannot challenge the power of the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, which at this point wields the most powerful social control mechanism ever created on Earth. Political and financial leaders in the West see the high level of the control the CCP wields over the Chinese people, and they want the same amount of control. These rulers consider themselves superior to us. They think of themselves as elite. Throughout history, the self-proclaimed elite have tried to enslave the rest of humanity. But in the West, where we care about freedom, we care about individuality, we care about privacy, the elite have been much more cautious than China about rolling out a social credit system. Western governments have been doing so in bits and pieces, gradually and deceptively. Before going into the details, I want to explain to you how a social credit system works. And at the base of a social credit system is total surveillance. And I mean total surveillance. That is the backbone of a social credit system. In China, there are cameras everywhere. Currently, China has 200 million cameras, and that number is growing daily. The cameras are trained on faces and bodies, and they know where everyone is at all times. Of course, everyone seen by the cameras is carrying a cell phone, and that phone itself is one of the biggest surveillance tools in the world. Why? Because each phone has a camera with Face ID, microphones, and GPS. They can hear and record everything that goes on. They know who you're talking to, what you search for, and what websites you visit. And they can even see what you read online by tracking your eye movements. They know how much money you have, who you text with, and what you like and dislike. And it might surprise you to know that your phone can watch your eyes and make sure you're reading what's actually on the screen. But it goes further than that. Your phone can watch your facial features and determine and predict your emotions based off of how you react to what you're reading. And it can log that information in your profile. So that goes to show the surveillance system in China has a perfect profile on each person. And before long, those cameras will be installed in Western countries. But this is not a problem of the future. You are already being spied on 24/7 through your cell phone. The government knows basically everything you're doing and saying and thinking and writing in real time, and they can record it for posterity. But it's worse than that. You've probably heard the saying, information is power, right? With the level of total surveillance and artificial intelligence, your government knows more about you than any government has known before. Think about it. What would it be like if Britain had this level of technology and surveillance back when America was first started? They would have known who the founding fathers were, they would have known the plans before they even happened, and they would have been rounded up and shot. There would be no United States of America because Britain would have stopped it before it ever happened. So here's a very important point. When a government of a country or leaders of a corporation have information about you, they automatically have power over you. Think about it. If you hold your money in a central bank digital currency and they know where you are at all times, who you associate, and what you think about almost everything, you become powerless to them. At this point, you might be wondering, what do they plan to do with this power that they have over me? Well, the answer is simple. They want to do what every power seeker does, and that's get more power. They will use the power that they have to take your power away and control you. And so let me show you how that's being done in China right now. In China, you receive a social credit score, and everything you do affects this score. You get rewarded for living your life in a way that the government wants you to live, and you get penalized if you go against the government's wishes. At the most basic level, it's similar to having a financial credit score, and soon a carbon score. If you get a loan and pay it off promptly, you get a high score. If you miss payments, you'll get a lower score. If you default on a loan or go bankrupt, your score gets a big hit. This all sounds familiar, right? But the Chinese social credit system goes far beyond just tracking finances. For example, if you watch the TV or online news on state-controlled media, you will be rewarded. Or if you drive responsibly, you will be rewarded. Or maybe you speak favorably about the government on social media. Or maybe you donate to the right colleges. Or maybe you report on one of your neighbors for doing something that the government disapproves of. All of those things would earn points and boost your credit score. So that brings on the question, how does the Chinese government reward people who have a high social credit score? You can go to the front of the checkout line in stores. Your plane and train tickets are cheaper than otherwise. At airports, you can sit in the first class lounge and you get to board first, and you're upgraded to the best seats on the plane. You can get a bank loan to start a business or to buy a home or a car with no money down, and you get the best loan terms. You get preference and promotions, and you get better, higher paying jobs. You can even work for the government, which in China is the best kind of work possible. And your kids will get into the best schools. And if you aren't married, you can even get on the best dating sites. So as you can see, it's very important to get a high social credit score. Your life will improve in numerous ways. The lives of your family will improve in numerous ways, and you'll gain prestige in your community. But what about the other end of the spectrum? Let's take a look at what that would be like. If you read alternative news that opposes the narrative of the state media, you will be punished. Or if you spend too much time on entertainment like video games, casinos, or alcohol, you will be punished. Or if you spend too much time on social media, you will be punished. These are just a fraction of the kind of activities that will cost you points. But there are also serious offenses that will result in severe penalties. These severe offenses could include a donation to a cause that the government doesn't like, a complaint about something that the government does wrong, mentioning the Tiananmen Square massacre, or associating with someone who has a lower credit score. And if your score falls too low, you will have to attend a re-education program to learn how to increase your score. You will have visits from government officials. Your career will suffer. You may not get hired, or you may even get fired from your current job. Your internet speed will be throttled. You won't be able to stay at the best hotels, or rent a good apartment, or even get into a good school. And of course, it'll be harder to get loans. Don't forget, your ability to travel or leave your house can be taken away from you. First, they'll start by taking away planes, and then after that, maybe they'll take away the trains and cars, and at a certain point, they could even put you on house arrest. In 2019, 23 million Chinese people were banned from flying in their own country due to their low credit score. They had been blacklisted, meaning that their score was so low that they were severely punished. And when someone has that low of a score, it's not just them that has to deal with the punishments. Their loved ones and their friends also get punished as well. It goes to show how manipulative these power seekers are, and also the fact that they have no empathy for the common person. So let's say your friend is on the blacklist and you want to give him a phone call. You dial the number, you hit call, and then you would receive a message before the call goes through that says something like, "Be aware that the person you're calling has been blacklisted. If you want to continue this call, you will receive marks against you. Are you sure you want to complete this call?" So blacklisted people will be ostracized. They will become social outcasts because their friends and family will leave them. They have to leave them, or else they'll be punished as well because of association. The goal of the Chinese social credit system is to isolate the people who disobey the government. If you're on the blacklist, that means you will be experiencing total isolation. Geographically, the blacklisted person cannot board planes, buses, or trains. Financially, the blacklisted person is not only fired from his job, but is prevented from ever being hired again. In addition, he loses government assistance and cannot take out loans. Add a CBDC system and his entire net worth can easily be deleted or seized. Socially, no one will talk to a person who is deemed untrustworthy, and if they dare to, they'll be punished. It's like you have a contagious disease. And you might be thinking, there's no way a social credit system will ever come to the West, right? Wrong. It's hard to believe. I know in the West we value freedom, we value individuality, and it's really hard to imagine a system like this ever existing in a place like this. But the pieces are falling into place as we speak, and it can only work through deceit. That is, it's operating in the name of social justice. Understanding that Americans are loving, accepting, and tolerant, politicians are taking advantage of our big hearts. I will explain exactly what is going on in detail in next week's video, where we will talk in depth about the social credit system coming to America. I really believe privacy is the issue of our century. It's the backbone of all of the issues that are coming. Social credit systems and CBDCs only work because of the level of total surveillance that exists. My name is Eric Meter. I'm an online privacy expert at Privacy Academy, and we teach privacy because it's so important to protecting freedom. If you want to get private and secure yourself, I really recommend that you click the link in the description. We hold 1-hour classes that are completely free, and they teach people how to get private and secure online. You don't have to be tech savvy to take the class. We design it so anyone can take them, and I really think that everyone should do it. So I hope I see you in the next class. If you're interested in watching part 2 of the series, I really recommend that you follow our channel because it'll come out soon. And if you think it's an important message, I recommend that you share this with your friends and family because I think it's an important message, and the more you share it, the more we can spread the word. Liking, commenting, and following is a great way to support us, and we thank you a lot for it. So thank you very much for watching the video.